Hello everyone, this is Karim Fahmy. I'm an Azure Solution Architect. Last time we met together and we talked about Azure in brief, and we had like a cruising all over the Azure web portal. And as I promised, today we're gonna start to talk about the first episode, which is the Azure Resource Groups and Azure Resource Groups. Okay, before starting to talk about of anything, this is not a training, this is not a tutorial, and actually there is no any marketing or sales things that is gonna be in here. All technical discussion. Okay, it's all technical discussion. So starting with the resource groups. So resource groups is like your logical container, or you can name it your virtual container that contains your resources, such as your storage and virtual network and virtual machines and computing database and web. Everything that you are creating on Azure is inside this resource groups, and each resource groups is located in a certain physical location. We have like a lot of location actually in Azure, and we're gonna see it in the demo later. So what is the difference between this and the on-premises if you are building your real data center? Okay, it's almost the same. You have to imagine that you have on premises, or I mean on the real life, you have an empty place with a cooling system, and you start building it block by block or step by step by purchasing, doing RFPs, RFQs to the vendors and purchasing your servers, high-end storage, high-end virtual equipments, and start configuring and connections, powering up, doing change request with the change management team if you are in a big enterprise. Okay, in Azure it doesn't go like this, which gives you more time to market. I mean, it's very quick time to market. So if you want to build your own data center in an hour, it's available on Azure, maybe less than an hour. Okay, so in Azure, the resource groups is I consider it as is your virtual data center because once you create a resource group, you can create all of your resources inside it from virtual machines, virtual networks, storage, web, database, everything that you're gonna create it is gonna be inside the resource groups. Okay, so this is the comparison between Azure and the on-premises from the point of the resource groups. So just consider that the resource groups is your data center, your virtual data center, okay, on Azure. So later you're gonna find that when I'm creating the resource group, okay, you're gonna ask, okay, Karim, we can find that while we are creating resource groups, it's located in North Europe, and then we're gonna create our virtual machines in West Europe. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible because resource groups is a physical location that contains the metadata. It's not containing the resources, it's containing the metadata of the resources. Okay. So resource group is like a container that have the resources that sharing the same life cycle. Okay, so if you are creating a web application and a database and a storage and each in a different place, but when you are if you want, for example, to move them or to delete them, so they have to be in the same resource group in order to make it easier. It's yes, you can delete it or update it in different resource groups, but I don't want to talk about this now because I won't go into details. I'm just floating over the resource groups topic. Okay, so let's see a quick demo here. Okay, so as you see, this is the Azure portal. Yeah, by the way, if you want to get your own Azure, so for the people who do not know how to get it, so just enter this link and you're gonna find on Microsoft, it's gonna give you some free stuff. So 12 month of popular free services, 200 dollars credit for 30 days to explore the services, and there are 25 services always for free. So you can start doing this and start having your own Azure portal. Okay, perfect. So let's start with the resource groups. So when you open your Azure portal, it's going to be like this, as you see, and this is the dashboard. You can do a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about this later. So, excuse me, this is the resource groups. So I'm going to create my resource groups here. I'm going to name it whatever, just Karim RG01. This is my resource group. And location that you want to choose. So you're going to choose whatever location that you want. Take care because when you are creating your own free, so some locations are not available and you have to open a case with Microsoft in order to avail it for you. So just most probably the West Europe is the one working with everyone. So create here and then resource group created. So now I have my own virtual or logical container. So now I can start building my data center. So if I press add, for example, I need my virtual machine. As I said first, the first block to build in your data center is the networks. This is the most important thing. Networks first, build your own network and the IP and everything and make everything settled from the network perspective and then start building your own compute or whatever, okay? So in this, for example, I'm gonna create, just not gonna create, but just showing you because this is the next episode. So this is the virtual network. We're gonna talk about it later. So I'm gonna create here, excuse me, address space, whatever. And you see here, this is the location. Okay. So it doesn't matter where you're gonna create it. You can create it here or there or whatever, but it's gonna be in the resource group of Karim. Okay, Karim tier 1. So that's for today. I mean, this is the quick stuff for resource groups. I hope you understand what are resource groups in a quick manner. It's not any details. We might talk about details in the future, but just I'm taking you step by step gradually in order to understand how Azure works, how Azure is built, so we can go together into deep details and also wait for my other series that I'm going to talk about the new features about Azure in parallel with the introduction of Azure. So the advanced or professional people can see our videos about the new features and how we are going to talk about them and how we're going to implement it. And the other way, this series is going to be for the intermediate and the beginners, and also we're going to take it gradually until you become an expert in a very short time. And I'll be happy if anyone wants to ask any questions, just send it to me on my LinkedIn. And soon I'm going to publish my blog and website very soon. So stay tuned. Have a nice day. Goodbye.